The Sports Web.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Web. Danny the Limb, Casey Warner in the studio. What's up, guys?
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Man, just another great day to be alive. Another great day to be alive.
That's a good positive attitude.
I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like everybody needs more of that.
That's right.
That's right.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, shout out to my partner, Jeremy. Today's his birthday, so
I sent him a happy birthday
happy
today.
birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, Jeremy Harris. What is he, 36?
Yeah, something like
37?
that, 37, 38,
Young
no,
stud.
who knows?
He's got it all.
He does.
He's the looks included.
He's got the look.
He's got the look. Man, I tell you, first of all, the boys are back in town.
Yeah.
WKU shows up
sir.
today, getting their temperatures taken and
Good.
all that. But then you heard they're out of Alabama, Crimson Tide and Auburn Tiger. They all both schools have some players testing positive for COVID-19. Are we going to just see a lot of that, Danny?
Boy, I don't know. I think there's going to be hotbeds on some places and zero on the others. It's going to be really strange until they start mixing. And, if they even have college football, I sure hope they do. But, right now it's a coin toss. They're still talking a lot of pros, though. That pro game's they're going full blast. And when's the basketball here start? August 1? So
July
31st.
July 31st, yeah.
So,
8 regular season games.
Yeah. So is that like a play-in, right?
Playing, yep. For the 8 seeds,
Sweet,
yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
KD not going to make it.
No, yeah, probably not.
I don't
Okay,
blame him.
you know.
He's probably not 100%.
No, he's probably not. I wouldn't.
So why risk it?
Yeah, exactly.
When
Yeah.
you might play one round or something.
That's true enough, but
We got a caller. I think that might be the Harbison Redlegs Radio Report Saturdays at 9. I miss those guys Saturdays,
man, yeah.
Danny.
old Jace, boy,
They're a byproduct of this thing.
indeed.
Line X Hotline, Line X Bedliners, Roger Gina, Louisville Road. Who's this? Is he there? We had this problem.
Is this Brian?
I love the.
Brian and Danny. Sorry, that was a
So funny.
pause there.
You reminded me of Major League Baseball for about 6 seconds right there. A no-show. Man, I want to hear you, Casey and Danny, just let it all out. Use this as like your Dr. Abby or whatever that column is in the newspaper. Get it all out, man. This is like Dr. Phil counts. I'm Dr. Phil today.
Well, I figure since we're not allowed on. Well, I'm not saying we're not allowed on Saturdays. We just haven't been able to be on Saturdays because there's been no baseball season. But today more news came out that the 76-game season is on the table. The Major League Baseball got back with the Players Association, I believe, and getting more of a prorated salary. They just have gone back and forth between the owners and the Major League Baseball Players Association. And they did up the compensation money, I guess, if you will, for the postseason up to $200 million. They're just going back and forth and arguing over what seems like, millionaires arguing with millionaires. And if they're not careful, they're going to really just alienate what fan base they have left. That's my opinion.
Well, they better get it done by the end of the week. Otherwise, I think they're going to have to scrap it because right now,
Window is closing.
yeah, it is. It's closing too quick. But they, like you said, that 76 games, it helped the players out. But they wanted to do that sliding scale before. If they took the 50 games and just took their prorated salaries, they probably end up making a few more bucks, but not that much. I mean, it's a 33% slide on 76 games. So. It's basically what they're going to get off of 50 games or 48 or something strange like that. And if they make the playoffs, but you know what? You have to make the playoffs to get that money. So I don't know. I anymore. I'm so disgusted with both sides. It's they should be right now ramping up right now, and they're not even close. So we'll see it by the end of the week. If it's not done by the end of this week, I don't foresee baseball going on, Jason. So
I'm with you. I mean, it's such a really bad time, and I think I'm not to get political or anything here, but the way things are going right now, people need baseball more than anything.
Oh yeah,
and they have a chance. Our good buddy Trevor Rice tweeted us back today too, that works up at our ESPN Elizabethtown, and he was saying, that right now is the time that they can grow their fan base as well, and they don't even realize it, how much that they could really grow. And granted, even if there aren't even baseball fans in the stands. With just a TV contract and the TV rights and all of that that's going on right now, you can just immensely grow your fan base, and they're just kind of like shooting themselves in the foot right now.
Well, my thing is we've always known that baseball is the most different of the four major North American sports in that there's no salary cap. So that definitely affects it anyways. And we've always known that, baseball is based on money. It's an unfair game. Moneyball, like the movie. And I think right now this is really showing that this game is all based around money more than any other game in the major professional American sports. I think it's really sad that we have to sit here and go back and forth week by week and the players keep bickering with the MLB. I think it's really sad because it's really shown what's happened to the game of baseball, and I really think that means that the game of baseball is more about money than it is for the love of the game right now. And, what do you guys think? Because that's my honest opinion.
Well, I think it's been about money for some time now. But like you said, there's no cap. But, these guys, you're looking at that from the players' side of view, they don't want to come out and get sick or anything like that. But, if you offered them, a little more money, they'll come out. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's what Snell came out and said, he wanted his and everything else. And, if he's only going to get this much and this much, well, if he doubled his salary, I guarantee he'd show up. So it is.
Right.
It is going to be all about the money. But I don't know. What do you think, Harvey?
Well, really, Danny, what's great, and you probably remember this. I know Casey's probably way too young to remember this, but back in '94 and '95,
I remember.
Absolutely.
When they had the strike. I still have some friends today that they won't even talk baseball with me because they just gave up on baseball back then, and that was it for them. They're like, oh, these millionaires, and of course they're not even making half the money they are making now in 2020. And a lot of people just signed off from baseball, said I'm never going back. Then of course you had the steroid scandal that happened in the early 2000s, and all things going on with that. So we're at kind of like a turning point, a fork in the road, if you will, for baseball as a whole. As it can get back to being the national pastime, but if they keep squabbling and going back and forth with each other, it's just going to prove more and more. It's like, hey, well, you know what? Football season is going to be starting soon, and the NBA is starting back here. They're playing all down in Orlando.
We have golf this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR. Why not?
Exactly.
NASCAR. Hey, real quick, I'm a cup half full guy, guys, and I just look at it in those aspects. So when thinking about that, at least it shows the owners are still trying to negotiate, still trying to get it done.
But like Harvison said, these guys have shot themselves in the foot so many times, 81, 95, 99, or 2000, and now they're doing this again. It took them 20 years to get a fan base back going again to where they're, record crowds. But if they do this again, it's going to really, really take a big hit. When, like you said, this time of year right now that the country could use and a few nice baseball games on every night to keep people off the streets, tell you the truth. But, I don't like working in the yard, but I got nothing else to do. I'm not going to sit down and watch reruns and stuff. But if there was a ball game on, by gosh, I'd be watching it. But I don't know. It's a real, real sad state of affairs, but we'll have to push on through, boys.
Yeah, I agree with you all. And a question I had for Danny and Jason as well, I wanted to get your all's take on, is minor league baseball. We got the Bowling Green Hot Rods right here in town. What are the chances you think that the Bowling Green Hot Rods fold up shop? What do you all think?
I'm just glad you said it like that and not we had the Bowling Green.
Exactly.
Because I'm really afraid that that's a possibility.
I would say there's an 80% chance of it. I hate to say that, but you're going to have your AAA and your AA, and that's it, man.
Yeah.
They're going to cut all the rest of these out of there because unless you got a private owner that's going to be able to take over each one of these teams and start their own group. There's already teams that like that. Cape Cod League is already folded. That used to be the premier out of the new kids on the block coming in, and the Cape Cod League was where they choose some great players out of there.
Well, and really too, Casey, to your point, that minor league baseball was already in trouble before the coronavirus and all of this happened. They were going to contract about 52 teams this past offseason. And Bowling Green was not one of those teams, fortunately, but there were a lot of teams, and of course I can speak for the Reds a little better than I can the other team. There were 4 minor league teams from different levels of the Reds farm system that were getting contracted. And now you throw in the coronavirus, and of course this year with I've talked to some of our good buddies that we've had on the show a lot, like C. Trent Rosecrans, who writes for The Athletic in Cincinnati. He's on the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame. And basically he has said that there is a 0% chance that they're going to have any kind of minor league baseball this year, and it just stinks. They're going to have some sort of like taxi league, which they've talked about, which means like if they do play this year, they're going to have to be able to kind of have somewhat of a small system of guys that you can bring up if somebody gets injured. So they're going to have like this, almost like this, I don't want to say barnstorming, but just some kind of weird league going on that's just kind of like almost underground, if you will.
They're talking about that, too. Barnstorming leagues are going to go on in the Midwest like they used to, and I think that would be cool. You know,
yeah.
You know, you go out, all right, we're going to play your team today. We'll all go out and have pizza afterwards.
Sandlot ball,
If we can all stay at somebody else's house one night, we'll be on our way, man.
I love it.
Dude, it's cool. I'd support that. I really would support that.
I would too, all the way, man. Old school.
I'd have my work's name right on the back of their
get the first
jersey,
step
dude.
league,
I
man.
would, dude.
That would be sweet. You could be the skip.
I want to be the skip.
You make a great skip, Danny.
I would like to see the First Step Orthotics play against the Chico Bail Bonds.
Exactly.
I'd love to see them.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
Bud's barbecue. That would be so great.
Some strip joint.
That'd be perfect. A little off the top.
Yeah.
That would be so great. What would your team name be, Harbison?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Mustachios. I think it should be the Mustachios.
Yeah, some sort of mustachio and kind of an homage there to Cameron Cope's little kind of studio buddy that he's got there with the mustachios.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, so what have you and Todd been doing to, fill in the void there, the Jenga block void on Saturdays?
We've been texting each other back and forth. You kind of like what we just did on the air with you guys here, just texting back and forth. Can you believe the owners? Can you believe the players? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Hey, did you know that so and so had a birthday? That's
unbelievable.
That's kind of our thing. But
anything to talk about, yeah.
Well, the one thing that's really been, I don't know if you guys have seen this, Danny, but Fox Sports Ohio has been playing old Reds games, and they've been even playing some All-Star games that aren't necessarily Reds related, but they had like on the 1968 All-Star game the other night.
Oh,
my. They've been having a bunch of different, of course, the Reds, the 75 and 76 World Series as well as 1990, but they've been playing a bunch of those. They had the All-Star game from 1982 on a couple of weeks ago, and I've just been watching that and seeing some of those old names. And I'm not saying I don't want baseball back, but I mean, if it's going to be gone for a while, Fox Sports Ohio is where you should be watching.
All right, man. I'll keep that in mind, brother. Because I've been watching a few of them. I've seen a couple of I watched the Boston and New York 2004 playoffs, and that was a lot of fun to watch. That being 3 down the Sox and then winning 4 straight, that was pretty cool. But it's just something to pass the time. But I could probably bet my son and tell you who's going to win because he wasn't old enough around that time. But
make some money on it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Percentages. If we were at the board at Caesar's Palace, going to be baseball, not going to be baseball. Yes or no, 50-50 bet. Right now, what would you say?
Yay, 43%.
I'm going to go no, 25%.
What do you think, Harbison?
Ooh, I'm gonna go about. I'm going to go no 30%, a little bit higher the cases there.
Let's just say that they get it down to a 50 game and everybody's happy with it and they go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Just the amount of time it's going to take for those guys to get ready, get things scheduled, get baseball in some form of back. I mean, they'll have to change the scheduling and all that this year, right? I mean, it'll be a mess.
Yeah, the outline is, they're still looking at July 4th and being done by September 27th and then have the postseason. That's their main goal right now. But, you don't know. If they don't finish up this week, that's a short leash.
There is, because they're saying no baseball after October 31st. Did I read that somewhere, Jason? Is that kind of – you get it done to where you can finish by the end of October?
Right.
Yeah, they didn't want to go into November, obviously, but they wanted to, like Danny was saying, they wanted to end the season on like September 27th or so, and then go straight into like a kind of a elongated, if you will, playoffs in October. So yeah.
Jason Harbison, everybody. Redlegs, man, thanks for hanging out talking baseball with us today, bro.
Hey, thanks. I can't wait to see you. I hope my 30% prediction is wrong so I can get back into cutting and get back in the studio and see you guys again.
We can always go to lunch or something, bro. Just
hey, not a problem.
Good talking, Bart.
Take care, man. Jason Harbison, Line X Hotline. Good stuff, man. We got a few more minutes before we got to dive into Vegas Frank. I'm looking very forward to what he's got to say. Coming up later, Gary on the green, and then during the Culver's Butterburgers High School spotlights, I'm going to tell you about a school here locally, a middle school, that's third time three-peat for academic team.
Oh, really?
That's pretty awesome. National.
Yeah. Spelling bees!
Yeah, I was never, nobody ever recruited me for the academic team. What about you?
Come on now.
I wasn't even on the short list. So
well, let's talk a little college football, man. I mean, are we going to get it? I think so. You and Frank scared me about 3 weeks ago. I'm feeling better about it. The only thing I'm scared about, I think the wheels are going to turn and they're going to go in motion and they're going to plan on having it. But just like this Alabama-Auburn thing, I mean, if you guys get it, I mean, what if your starting quarterback gets a positive test a week before the starting game?
What if 7 get it from the
what
starting
if
line?
The whole line gets it? I mean,
exactly. I mean,
I don't know how we're going to navigate through it.
I have not a clue, but one thing is Sam is going back to Ole Miss in the fall, so I really never thought that was going to happen because you get these kids, man. They're even having freshman classes going to the dorms there, man.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh my word! Could you imagine how bad that could break out there? And that's what I just said. Ugh.
But these kids are so equipped with all this digital learning
and smarts,
and they're smarter than we were. I mean, they really
a lot
are.
Smarter than I am.
They just really are. Casey, what's your take on NFL, NBA, like anything you want,
Yeah. So, in relation to college football, I think the only way we're going to have a season is no fans. I don't think there can be any way there's going to be fans, NFL or college football, but definitely college. And, it's weird to think of a situation where there wouldn't be any fans because just WKU, for example, some of the smaller, more mid-major kind of schools, think about the way, Houchins Industries Stadium is set up. There's a fence with a tree line. You're telling me if there's no fans, people are not just going to be standing outside that fence in droves?
There'll be like 70 drones.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
Jeremy can get us.
Jeremy, give me a
that's
whole
my
game,
issue.
baby.
That's my issue with the no fans thing. But I mean, that's what has to happen. I think at this point. But it's like it's funny to think some of the smaller stadiums like that. Fans are going to want to get in and they're going to try to get
people
in.
in tier stands.
Yeah. So
I think they're not going to balk at a couple fans climbing one over here and someone to be sitting over there by the time they did a stare
nothing,
around the
hear
guy's
nothing.
The guy's gone,
it's crazy.
I think if they dodge the second wave that they're talking about in November, there'll be fans. There'll be fannies in the seats in December, in not even college football or pro football. I'm just thinking they'll do it.
At first I thought, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're shutting stuff down. This could be very dangerous. It could be, but now that we know a little more about it, I feel like maybe we could have got the ball rolling a little sooner on some of this stuff. But that's just my opinion.
Hey, thanks a lot, Fauci.
Yeah, he's not a sport fan favorite. I guarantee that about as much as Goodell is.
Yeah.
NFL though, major shift. I feel like that we're going to have football regularly, and I maybe not in August or September, but I feel like November, December, there might be fans in the stands in NFL.
I hope so. I really do.
Golly.
Just to save half the season as far as for the fan base and the owners. I mean, for them too. I mean, there's those poor owners. They make billions and millions of dollars, but you know what? You still got to go to a game, man. And
yeah, it's
a lot different than watching it on TV. Granted,
I hate it for the season ticket holders, like the guy who's had Green Bay Packers since the 1960s.
Exactly.
Never missed a game, and then he's like, ugh.
That counts.
I mean, not only that, but think about this: we got 2 new stadiums in the NFL opening this year. We got the Las Vegas Raiders, and then we got the Chargers and Rams stadium. Imagine 2 new stadiums opening without fans. What would that be like?
Without a dude,
that would be so awkward. I mean,
that would be really weird.
I couldn't imagine. I didn't even think
Welcome to the new Vegas Stadium.
Yeah, I was thinking like in NBA, somebody comes, he just echoes for like an hour. I was thinking, let's say NBA, and it's, semifinals, and the Bucks are playing somebody, and Giannis goes down and reverse 360 and just busts the backboard, and all of a sudden all you hear is like a chair screeching where one newspaper guy got up to fill his coffee up. I mean, I don't know, it's going to be weird. But
that really will be.
We said last week, what do you think about the 2K crowd noises?
They're going to pipe it in.
They're going to pipe it in,
why
aren't
not?
they?
I mean, you got to do what you, especially with technology.
Some of these
now.
players probably couldn't do it without that sound noise.
I mean, could they go back and just dub, record?
Well, they do in practice every day.
I mean, do they do it already in practice?
Oh, yeah.
They
Some
simulate?
teams,
I didn't know that.
Some teams, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, anytime Nebraska ever did, they always piped in the
really?
noise at all times.
That is genius. I never knew.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool.
It gets some clicking in between the offense, especially. So
yeah.
Our WKU analyst Casey Warner, you hear anything coming out of the tops, man? Any hot news?
Today actually, sports editor at the WKU Herald was telling me that since everything's just kind of getting back in swing, the media hasn't become able to talk to anybody. The players and the coaches aren't available to the media yet, so they're literally, just like you said earlier, just getting tested, taking everybody's temperature, making sure everybody's COVID free. So right now we're just taking baby steps, but players, coaches, they're just now getting together, and it's with all that being said, it's good to know that they're actually back. So that's all I'm happy
that's
about.
refreshing, dude.
It is refreshing.
It is, dude. Just some, like you said, baby steps, but man, at least it's steps. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No matter what direction.
Exactly.
We got some steps. Danny, you want to leave us with anything wise before we go to break?
No. I just hope something happens by the end of the week. And, all the turmoil that's going around the United States, it's saddening, and but this will all work its way out, and it really will. People just love each other and take care of each other, and I think everything will be fine. I really do. I think everything is going to come to a nice mesh down the road. It may take another year or so, but there's going to be some good peace, love, and understanding.
Yeah, it's like maybe work itself out kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a whole work itself out. Everyone's going to have to pitch in, but that's how it's going to be done. It can't be done by laws. It can't be done by people doing this and doing that. It's got to be by the people themselves.
Ooh, I asked for wise, and I got wise.
Wise words.
Hey, the only thing I can leave you with wise is Vegas Frank's coming up after the break, and continue washing your hands.
We go.
Oh yeah.
102.7.
And McCarty's coming in from the bullpen with no warm-up. I cannot believe this. We've never seen a pitcher come to the mound without warming up. Let's see what happens. Whoa, that's a long one. Oh, and another. Whoa, that's 7 home runs this inning. If he would have only warmed up.
In baseball, pitchers don't take the mound without warming up, so why would you take chances with your air conditioner when you need to cool down? Don't wait until it gets hot. Turn to the experts. Clean and service your unit today with Bowling Green Refrigeration, your authorized Carrier dealer. Bowling Green Refrigeration can service your Carrier unit and all other major units. Set up an appointment today, 270-782-5391. With a clean Carrier unit, there'll be no surprises this summer. Bowling Green Refrigeration. Your comfort is their concern.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When I was born, I got lucky, a gift if you will. My early life was really hard for many reasons, but at the time, it really didn't seem all that hard. I had a close relationship with my brothers and sister and loads of friends. Those days of desperation and poverty led me to my job today, representing the people, not the powerful. But my job is really not a job because I never considered it work. In many ways, it's more like a public service. Now, as I age, I get to look back at all the cases and all the people and all the trials. And the best part is when I get to see you all out and about. When I pray before I sleep, I thank God for the gift I received at birth, the genuine love I have for people, all people. Maybe that's why my work never seemed like work to me. When I was born, I got lucky. I got to meet all of you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Dial pound law on your cell.
All cases handled by our Kentucky licensed attorneys.
When Poston Electronics
Welcome
opened
back on the
Bowling Green
Lennox
back in
Hotline.
1974,
We've got
it
the
sounded
one
more
in
like this.
Turn it up, man.
Now, Austin is as legendary as the artists Southern Kentuckians hummed through the speakers they've bought there for the last 45 years. Austin is everything audio with top brands like JP Audio and Alpine. From home theaters, boats, motorcycles, side-by-sides, custom work, installation, service, or sales, Austin still has the sound. Turn it up, man. Austin Electronics, across from Firestone on Broadway
Welcome
Avenue.
back on the Linux Hotline.
The best football teams always get the call right. Need to make the right call before you excavate. If you don't and you damage a natural gas line, the Kentucky Public Service Commission will investigate and you could be fined up to $1,250. So make the right call. Put safety first. Call 811 before you dig.
Touchdown! Oh my goodness!
This message brought to you by the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
Stop!
$200 in chips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir? Bet. Hit me.
It's a bust!
Whoa! I am on fire!
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Welcome back on the Linux Hotline. We've got the one and only Vegas Frank against the odds, all the way from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I tell you what, I'm doing good because I know it's not normal. We may never see our sense of normal, but you know, people on the road, Scottsville Road, you can't get up to 45 miles an hour anymore. So I know that's very similar. And then there's other things that are just kind of giving you that feel. You know, but restaurants are back a little bit. I've been to a couple restaurants. I mean, you know, it's starting to feel that way around here. And I know that the casinos opened up Friday.
Some casinos were opened up, Thursday at midnight or, Friday morning, basically. So we're starting to see that. People starting to go and visit, and we'll have a little bit of people in town visiting to go into different casinos, obviously because of the occupancy and everything, occupancy limitations being put in place. You know, there's obviously going to be some adjustments, and all the casinos aren't open, but, everything is going to be kind of going in waves. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, that's got to be challenging, to say the least, to some of these big properties. And, to have that whole casino open and then, with one person per row of slot machines, it's just going to have a weird feel, but I got a feeling the floodgates will open, Frank, as soon as things, it's kind of one of those things where you watch and see what's happening. People kind of go with the flow, So I feel like in the next 3 to 4 weeks, Vegas is going to look very similar to what it did in February.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you, probably with the exception of just the occupancy. Because they're still going to limit the amount of people that they're allowing into buildings and everything like that. They're monitoring. I went to a locals casino over the weekend, and they've got the station set up where they're doing everybody's temperature as you come in. They have everything like spaced out for a line that you're waiting in to get into any type of restaurant. There's going to be that spacing and those things. With regards to the machines, what I thought was kind of interesting, as far as the machines go, all the machines have to be turned on because a lot of these every casino has got their own progressive system, and I'm giving you a nuts and bolts type of thing. In order for your machines to all be on, to be activated, they all got to be connected. So all the machines are on, but people can't sit at them because you have to have a seat, in between you, or 2 seats in between you in a lot of cases. So that is going to be an adjustment for them going forward. Can these people sit together, or can these people sit within a seat of each other? Live table games, they're going to have 6 or 7 people sitting at the table games, and there can't be anybody standing that close to the tables. Wow. They've got to figure this stuff out still.
Yeah, they do. And what's going to happen to the guy who, and you've seen it, I know I've seen it many times, the guy who's playing the slot they're looking at, but then they're also putting money into the one to the right and the one to the left. I mean...
Yeah, that's us. We used to do
that. I mean, those folks, they're going to have a challenging time. But, it is one of those things to where I mean, you could go down so many rabbit holes with this thing, but I'll just say let's get things, slowly moving in that direction and see how it goes. And we'll kind of talk about that when it pertains to college football here shortly. But let's start with the NBA. Teams are headed to Orlando. I'm excited about this, but you've got a lot to dive into and unpack. So let's hear your thoughts on Orlando and the NBA 22 teams.
Well, I mean, we're excited to see that the NBA is going to come back. We have a target date. Sounds like it's going to be starting July 31st. We're going to have training camps in some capacity for a lot of these teams taking place around the 7th or 8th, shortly after the 4th. A lot of team staffs will be making their way to Orlando. 22 teams in all, 13 teams in the West, 9 teams in the East. The reason why they did that is because the 9th seed, the Washington Wizards, still have a shot of making the playoffs or qualifying for the playoffs. Everyone's going to play 8 regular season games, and I think it's going to be executed kind of like a summer league, where they're going to be playing all the time, and then the games are going to be shown on NBA TV or ESPN or TNT. They're going to be showing games all the time until they get to the playoffs, and then they're going to have, if they have some type of tiebreaker in the West between the 8th and 9th, they're going to have essentially a play-in, a 2-game play-in, or a 1-game play-in, depending on how the teams are seeded. And I guess for me, I'm glad that they've provided a solution. I think that it's great that they've provided some type of solution. It's great that we can finish the season and that we have a plan in place. What I'm concerned is for their calendar. They want to start the NBA season, I believe, in November or December. Okay, so you want to start the season November, December. The NBA season that we're going to be restarting this year for the finals and everything won't be ending until October 12th.
Oh, man.
And then the turnaround is like November 10th for them to go back to training camp.
That's quick. That's
less than a month.
It's optimistic, for sure.
It's very optimistic. And for them to be able to execute this, I mean, it's going to be very complicated. But, I mean, can it be done? Absolutely. But I think that they should have held more to that opening date of, like, Christmas and then started the training camps, on the 1st and give everybody some time.
Yeah, I agree.
Give everybody some time to recuperate and to relax. We don't know. We have no idea who's going to advance. They're going to be playing the volume of their games. Obviously, they're all going to be self-contained to one area. They're going to be playing a lot of basketball in a short period of time.
Yeah, and as far as like the fan side of it, there's not going to be any crowd noise when somebody has a steal and a jam on the other side. But they're saying they're going to maybe integrate some NBA 2K crowd noises in there. I mean, I like that. It's innovative. But here's the way I look at it. No matter who's on site watching, which will be the athletic trainers and a couple media people. Otherwise, the people at home in their living rooms and at Buffalo Wild Wings, they're still going to be jumping and screaming when somebody hits a buzzer beater. I mean, so, all you're taking is the crowd out, which I think in turn is going to make play a little different for the guys on the court.
I agree. And I mean, and as far as like your depth perception is like you don't see people around anymore. I mean, maybe that the crowd it's a different feel to have the crowd on the sidelines yelling either for you or against you. Yeah. All those things. There really is no home court advantage. Everybody's playing in the same setting.
That's right.
So, I mean, who's able to take advantage of that? It's going to be very interesting to see how they execute this. I'm excited for it. But, again, we don't know how people are really going to react, not seeing the crowds. Are fans going to pay attention and watch all of the games? Or are they going to be that interested after they see the first couple of weeks?
That's true.
Are they going to lose interest? We don't know.
It's possible.
We don't know.
I think the game will dictate that. If it's a March Madness type game where it's close, the whole way. Yeah, but if somebody's 25 points ahead in the third quarter, people are going to change the channel, man.
I agree. It's going to take time.
And final thought on the NBA. I mean, here's the way I look at it, Frank. You have to be totally optimistic to think that you're going to have a couple-week turnaround to restart a new season after we've been through this. And during that optimism, you also got to remember that that's just saying that we're going to get to that point only if there's not like, the Nets fall under, 8 people with positive COVID tests. And then all of a sudden they're out of it no matter how far they've climb to get into the playoffs after these 8 regular season games. I mean, anything could happen and put a big old stop stamp right on this thing.
No, you're right. And again, too, they want to get all of these people, all the teams and the faculty and staff members, whatever, down there by the 7th, 8th of July so that they can kind of self-quarantine them in this bubble down there in Orlando so that they can start at the end of July. You're talking about 3 weeks.
I mean, we're not
you're
even
going to be there self-quarantined anyway.
Yeah, even that we've got a plan, like you were saying and alluded to, it still has to all go off without a hitch. That's the part that it's just so hard, man. But I will be glad the sports books are open, man, and that's going to be good for all Las Vegas sports bettors, and that's good stuff, and it gives us hope. Frank, any final thoughts on the NBA?
I mean, if you guys were worried about, because of this layoff that Kyrie and Kevin Durant were going to come back and play for the Nets, we can eliminate that. That's
KD's
not
not playing, yeah.
No, Durant is not going to play. He's done for the season. It was what the original plan was for him to be able to rest and rehab completely for the full season. Durant's not coming back. The number jumped from I want to say 250 to 1 or something for about 6 hours. It jumped to 60 to 1 for them to win the NBA title because they thought that Durant would be able to play.
Yeah, and that shot back up to 250 to 1.
He's not playing.
Man, it's amazing how one person can change the odds on the board. You're listening to Vegas Frank. He changes the odds on the board every time he speaks on the Sports Web 301 times to be exact. Frank, let's talk a little bit about college football. The Hilltoppers got 65 guys on campus today, and I think that's exciting. But news out of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers, both teams with multiple positive coronavirus tests. I mean, here's what we were just talking about, Frank. I mean, but I feel like if it's going to be a couple schools that are having it out of the gate, it's good that it's 2 gigantic magnified programs because we're going to be able to watch and see how those guys and gals handle it, and maybe they'll set a precedent or a benchmark.
No, you're right. They're run like professional franchises on a smaller scale. These are programs that are very well recognized nationally and in their conference. So if anybody's going to sort of set a trend for how to address this, it's going to be them. Maybe they develop some type of, we have a physically unable to perform list or a disabled list or a practice squad list. Maybe we just have some isolation group to where they're in a certain area on campus or something to where they could be isolated, treated, being like doing playbooks and practices, sort of virtually through the Zoom or something like that. They could find a way to address it to make it work. I think if there's a will, there's a way. If my sister can have her kids taking their Zoom classes for the last 3 months without anybody killing each other, I think that they can figure this out.
I agree with you there. But it goes back to, and I'll even trickle it down to, high school sports. I mean, these coaches are having to deal with terms like low touching, medium touching,
right.
And it's, it's hard to get your head around it. Groups of 10 or less, and only you can't, touch the same equipment, and all these things that have to be done, and have these protocols that have to be followed. I mean, it's going to be amazing just seeing humanity get through this in a way that it looks like it's normal on the field, and I hope it doesn't translate into play of the game. I want to still be high intensity. I still want it to be everybody's firing on all cylinders type thing, and you wonder, man, is it going to work? I don't know. It's a lot of unknowns, and we've been talking about it for 14 weeks, and we still don't know, really. I mean, so unbelievable stuff. Anything out of the NFL?
Just hearing that they're going to be doing organized team activities for some of these teams, and it's obviously going to look different than how it has, in the past. But they're going to try to follow all the safety guidelines and protocols. So we'll wait and see. I know that a lot of teams. I know that I could speak for the Raiders in particular because I've been following a lot of their social media stuff. That a lot of these guys have just been doing workouts between 3 or 4 or 5 guys, around town here in Vegas, just getting together at the park and running through drills. And I think that's going to be kind of a trend for a lot of these teams because, do these larger groups and, they want people to be in smaller groups. Remember, you're going home at the end of the day to your families, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. And these guys have got to keep that stuff in.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing. This whole thing has been a mindset thing, and it can go one way or the other. It can go, you're depressed and you're scared, or it could be, I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to come out better on the other side. And I've tried to maintain that. You've maintained that, and I think that's kind of going to be the sentiment, for everybody. They want to do what's right. They want to protect their neighbor, but they also want life to get back to rolling. And we've been rolling. Vegas Frank. We're going to finish up Nunez with a decision. Any new news out of the UFC, and you want to comment on this weekend's fight?
No, I think the fights are pretty good. I think the UFC has kind of found their niche as far as being able to knock out these events. Both with the fight nights and the UFC pay-per-views, the format they've been doing really well, and they've been maintaining. I mean, if you look at not since the first event, have they had a positive test? Yeah, that's a good point. They've been doing very well, and they sort of kind of led this going forward as far as this trend. Preparing a lot of people for boxing is going to follow a lot of their preparation as far as what the UFC's been doing. But really quick, as far as what goes on inside and outside the octagon, we're talking about Conor McGregor kind of leaking it over the weekend again. Yeah. That he's thinking about retiring because they can't get a fight for him, and that he's discouraged and he's frustrated. And this probably is the fourth or fifth time I've heard of Conor McGregor retiring. So yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know if this is really something that's going to take place, but, they'll probably be announcing his fight in the next couple of weeks, so who he's going to take on.
It's funny. Conor McGregor hates attention, doesn't he? I mean, he hates it.
He can't stand it.
Hates the limelight. He's such he's such an introvert. Well, we talked to UFC to the chagrin of Randy Lee and Danny Hartung, two non-believers. We're going to have to get them out there for a Raiders game, and we'll take Jim Grant with us, and we'll show them that UFC, they're going to come out buying T-shirts. You know what I mean?
One event. It takes just one event, and you're a convert. We'll have them. Just after one fight night with us, they'll be done.
Vegas Frank, everybody, against the odds. Las Vegas, man. Thank you so much, buddy.
Good talking to you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Sports Web 102.7.
The sounds of summer. We're more grateful for them now than ever. Willow Oaks Golf Club is putting your family first when it comes to health and safety. Willow Oaks is thankful to provide the opportunity to have fun, memorable moments while social distancing. Willow Oaks offers a beautiful golf course, restaurant, and now you and your family can enjoy the swimming pool. Become a member today at Willow Oaks Golf Club. Please contact Willow Oaks with any questions. 270-308-OAKS.
Culver's Restaurant on Scottsville Road has you and your family's safety in mind. But even though the dining room is closed for now, Culver's of Bowling Green wants you to know the drive-thru is open for all regular business hours. So you can still get your favorites like butterfly jumbo shrimp, flaky North Atlantic cod, and chicken tenders. Remember, our chicken is raised humanely and without antibiotics. It's simply the best. What about fresh salads and our cook-to-order classics like roast beef? Yummy! Oh, and everyone's favorite butter burger, frozen custard, malts, and shakes. Culver's, welcome to delicious, 4903 Scottsville Road.
When Poston Electronics opened in Bowling Green back in 1974, it sounded more like this.
Turn it up, man!
Now Poston is as legendary as the artists Southern Kentuckians pumped through the speakers they've bought there for the last 45 years. Poston is everything audio with top brands like JP Audio and Alpine. From home theaters, boats, motorcycles, side-by-sides, custom work, installation, service, or sales, Poston still has the sound. Turn it up, man. Poston Electronics, across from Firestone on Broadway Avenue.
So what's the deal with Big Green Egg Grills? Mike Keith here, letting you know if you're looking to grill, smoke, or bake on the highest quality grill out there, you need to see Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. They have the Big Green Egg, #1 for over 25 years and with good reason. With a lifetime warranty and best-in-class ceramics, this thing is awesome. There are no chemicals in Big Green Egg Lump Charcoal. And Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill has the best price in town, just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road. BowlingGreenFireplace.com.
JBK Network Consulting and Cisco Systems have long been partners in Hilltopper Country. We have served South Central Kentucky since 1992 and now serve customers throughout the Commonwealth and in 19 states. With the power of Cisco Systems, JBK Network Consulting offers a complete lineup of voice-over IP, wireless indoor and outdoor, and digital signage for both information and entertainment sales and services. Looking to expand or just want to start on rock-solid ground? Conveniently located in Bowling Green, JBK Network Consulting, where we are IP everything.
How's everything taste tonight, folks?
It's really good. Where did the pork come from?
As a chef, it's important to know where your food comes from. That's why we buy local and Kentucky-raised food.
We're the Ragland family from LaRue County, Kentucky. We have farmed on Shady Rest Farm since 1925. We believe in what we produce, we feed it to our own family, and we're happy to share it with your family. Whether it's at your local market or your favorite restaurant, we provide the best quality pork for our consumers. Kentucky Farm Families, feeding Kentucky,
feeding the world.
Sponsored by the Kentucky Pork Producers and the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund.
This is Mike Keith, voice of the Tennessee Titans, and you're listening to the Sports Web on ESPN Radio 102.7.
Studio, Sports Webb. Casey Warner working the board, doing me right. Got a cool announcement for our Culver's Spotlight tonight. This is taking us through the COVID-19, and you can still get some great butter burgers and North Atlantic cod. Oh, my goodness.
Cod, man.
Oh, it's the best.
Wow.
It's the best fish sandwich in the United States. You got to get over and try it. But talking about that, tonight's Culver's Spotlight, Culver's Butterburger, Scottsville Road, the Edmonson County Junior Academic Team. And I don't care if you're a mental athlete or a physical athlete, you're still an athlete, man.
Always, yeah.
Absolutely. Your brain is a muscle just like everything else.
That's right.
The Edmonson County Junior Academic Team, third consecutive national championship, Casey.
Wow.
They three-peated, man.
Wow.
They played Emerson Middle School up in Michigan, ended up 445 tie. Both teams were named the co-national champions, but the middle school has been sole national champion. This is the third year, but they share it with Emerson. Very talented school. They're the only middle school to ever repeat an academic win like that, and the only one to ever have three straight national championships. And there's some, I know Bryson Daniels. I don't know him, but I know his mom. He's on there, and I'm sure there's some Johnsons on that crew. And I wish I had all their names, but I thought I had them, but I don't. But they know who they are, and a big shout-out from Culver's Butterburgers and Casey and Brian, man. What about that?
Man, I'll tell you what, school, academics always come first when you're an athlete, and that school is proving it right there. How about that?
They really are doing great, and maybe they can do a quattro next year.
Quattro? I mean, hey, a quadruple, Pete, like, what are the chances of that?
Fantastic is what it would be.
Fantastic.
Huge. It would be huge. Beautiful. Amazing and huge. Hey, well, don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with Gary on the Green, brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us, 102.7.
Culver's Restaurant on Scottsville Road has you and your family's safety in mind. But even though the dining room is closed for now, Culver's of Bowling Green wants you to know the drive-thru is open for all regular business hours. So you can still get your favorites like butterfly jumbo shrimp, flaky North Atlantic cod, and chicken tenders. Remember, our chicken is raised humanely and without antibiotics. It's simply the best. What about fresh salads and our cook-to-order classics like roast beef? Yummy! Oh, and everyone's favorite butter burger, frozen custard, malts, and shakes. Culver's, welcome to Delicious, 4903 Scottsville Road.
Game Exchange is back and paying up to 20% more for your cash trades.
Only Game Exchange
is paying you more cash for video games and accessories.
Only Game Exchange
is paying you more cash for your electronics like iPhones, iPads, watches, and audio.
Only Game Exchange
is paying you more cash for your comics, trading cards, action figures, and Funko Pop.
Only Game Exchange
is paying you more cash for your Blu-ray and DVD movies. Get more cash for your unwanted items.
Only at Game Exchange.
Scottsville Road, Bowling Green, across from B-Dubs.
So what's the deal with Big Green Egg Grills? Mike Keith here, letting you know if you're looking to grill, smoke, or bake on the highest quality grill out there, you need to see Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. They have the Big Green Egg, #1 for over 25 years and with good reason. With a lifetime warranty and best-in-class ceramics, this thing is awesome. There are no chemicals in Big Green Egg Lump Charcoal. And Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill has the best price in town. Just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road. BowlingGreenFireplace.com.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, boss. I can make it across. Well, then do it.
We got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
Welcome back to the Sports Web, hanging out with the one and only Casey Warner. And on the Line X hotline, we've got the one and only Coach Adam Gary, WKU Lady Hilltoppers. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Actually finished a little golf myself today. Played a little KPGA Pro-Am up in Louisville, so it was fun to get back on the links myself today.
That makes me so happy. I played yesterday, but nothing of this magnitude, just with some great guys at Willow Oaks. Tell us about your round.
Yeah, so we played up at Big Spring Country Club. It was a Pro-Am, like I said, so you bring your own team. It was me and John Kernahan, Ben Wheeler, and Jeff Gum. So
Kernahan.
I brought some studs, I thought, and we ended up, looks like we finished tied for second. We shot 10 under, and I shot 73 individually, and it looks like I'm going to be in third or fourth. There's
Really?
still a couple groups.
Well, great showing, Adam. I mean, that's did you leave any birdies out there? Did you leave any birdies out there?
Yeah, you always leave some birdies out there. Unfortunately, I had 4 birdies and shot 1 over today. I had a double and made a stupid bogey on a par 5 with a wedge, but, there's always those shots you left out there that leave you wanting some more, doesn't it?
It's so true. It is. And we got more sports opening back up, and PGA is one of them. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, golf is one of those sports that's, if any sport can come back, I mean, golf is one that can be social distance, and I know it's kind of weird not having fans there, but man, it's good to see them back out on the links, and I'm happy to see it. So hopefully this will kind of open some things up, and we can get the fans and everything back as soon as possible. But yeah, really good stuff.
Let me ask you this: what if they put some kind of trigger in the bottom of the cup, Casey? Just hear me out. They put a clip down there that once your ball lands in the cup, and they've got a couple of PV amps on every hole just jammed up over there, and a humongous ruckus of a sound. Now, the only thing that would be weird on is when some guy made a double bogey and he still got the crowd noise.
That was that commercial with Ricky Fowler. He had the Bluetooth speaker, right, that you could turn it on and play the crowd.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I must have subconsciously sold that. But
there might be a market for that. Maybe we could come up with our own
possibly
speaker to have some background noise.
Investors? Possibly you. Little stepbrothers for you, the folks there. Adam, I mean, what are you doing as far as pertaining to WKU Lady Hilltoppers?
Yeah, not much going on right now. I mean, we're really just waiting for the June 15th is our next big deadline. That's the kind of the opening season, as you will, with recruits, so I can make phone calls to the class of 2022 starting on June 15th. So a week from today, I've just got my calendar set to basically make phone calls all day. So that's kind of the next exciting thing. It's not anything real immediate, but we can kind of start targeting and talking with some of the recruits from the 22 class and try to nail down some future Hilltoppers.
Hey, Adam. So we always, ask about golf tips on the show, but I'm going to get a little personal on this one with me. I've never really been a golf guy, never played before. And my situation is I'm a bit ambidextrous. So when I played baseball in high school, I always swung the bat right-handed, but I am left-handed predominantly. I do most things left-handed, and whenever I've picked up a club, just, playing putt-putt or whatever, I've always wanted to swing right-handed as well. What are your thoughts on ambidextrous golf players and kind of guys like me? Where would you start as far as, wanting to go left-handed or right-handed?
Great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. And actually, I'm left-handed but play golf right-handed.
Okay.
There's quite a few golfers. Ben Hogan was left-handed. Phil Mickelson's actually right-handed, but golf's left-handed. So I think it can be done. The tip that I would give is the hand that you write with and eat with. that is what I would go the opposite. So if you're eating with your left hand, I would play golf right-handed, or vice versa, as a golf tip out there, because basically the top hand is your steering wheel in a sense, and if you've got the most feel, for me, like with my left hand, I think it helps me because I can kind of use the back of my left hand to square the club face up and everything. So I feel like it's the best of both worlds, and honestly, that's why hockey players make really good golfers, honestly, because they can maybe hit a slap shot one side and then play golf the opposite side. Same for tennis players as well. So I think there's a lot to be said for that. I don't know if someone is just dominant right-handed, you would try to intentionally switch them left-handed, but if you've got some feel and some ambidextrous tendencies, I think that's where I would suggest starting. And then obviously feel is important to that as well, but if you can start with that, then that would be my tip.
That's really interesting you say that, because I was never even able to get that good of an answer when I asked some coaches why I would bat right-handed in baseball. They always used to just tell me that I was dominant in my left eye, and my left eye was, facing the pitcher. So they always thought that's why I swung right-handed. But that makes it really more clear the way you explain that. So that's a cool tip. But also I wanted to ask, too, for beginner golfers like me, so my issue always golfing was when my dad used to try to teach me, I could never drive the ball. So for beginner drivers like me that have kind of struggled to drive the ball when they've tried to play golf, what would a tip be for people like me like that?
I mean, I think it all goes back to what the ball flight's doing. So my big thing is contact first. So when I'm on the lesson tee with someone, the first thing I try to do is obviously get the club face and the ball in the center. So if we can get solid contact, then we kind of look backwards from there. Is the ball going more to the right, more to the left? And then that could be a face to a path issue. I don't know that it's really as easy as a simple one tip, unfortunately, but I think if you can keep one thing in mind, it's obviously you want to brush the grass with an iron, but when you have a wood in your hand, you want to hit up on it just a little bit more. So I think ball position is really important, to have it off your front foot or your front shoulder, or you can kind of lift it and just sweep it off the tee and not hit the ground. That's what gives you the most distance. And as long as you can catch it in the center of the face, then you just kind of start fixing the ball flight from there and hopefully get it as straight as possible. And that's the lifelong journey that we're all on, right? Trying to hit it long and straight.
Totally. This might kind of be just like a half-joking question. I know Brian will appreciate this, but kind of, referring to Happy Gilmore a little bit, when he learned how to putt at the putt-putt course, how realistic is that? Have you ever coached or seen a golfer that has actually improved tremendously their putting game from going to just, fun putt-putt courses? Is that realistic?
I think so. I mean, anytime you can keep a club in your hand, I think it's important. And I think that's the kind of stuff that helps grow the game, if that gets somebody interested in it. And even with, Stephen Curry doing this holy moly, where it's kind of like a cross of putt and wipeout, So it's just kind of something that makes the game cool. And if that gets somebody introduced to it to where they can kind of graduate up to the big course, then I think that's an awesome thing.
Grizzly Adams did have
a beard. Yes, sir.
We got about a minute, Adam. Why don't you kind of shed some light. What's Tiger's status? When will we see him, do you think, in this new form of COVID golf?
Gosh, I mean, I think his form looks really good in the match that they played.
Great.
So, I mean, I don't think there's any holdback there. As far as scheduling, I haven't heard anything officially from him on when he's going to come back, but I would think it's got to be soon, right? I mean, he generally tends to like it when it's warm outside, so now that the temperature's up, I think that helps his body get loose and get moving.
You're right.
And honestly, I think it benefits him to not have fans there. Unfortunately, I know the fans really want to see him, but he has to deal with so many outside, distractions that I think
he's Tiger Woods.
With less of that, I think it's almost going to help him. So I would be shocked if he doesn't come back by the end of the month.
Yeah, I was thinking by the end of this month we'll see him. But real quick, we got 20 seconds. I wanted to ask you, before everything that happened, it kind of took him out of his norm that we were seeing all the time. Take that, fast forward. Now, when you go back, though, the conversation, Jack Nicklaus versus Tiger Woods, can he surpass the Golden Bear? Does that conversation come back, or have we missed that boat?
I mean, I think the conversation is still there. I think it's an uphill climb. I mean, he obviously still needs to get 4 more, which is a lot, and especially now that he's in his 40s. I think he's 43, 44.
I think that's
so
close.
I think the oldest anyone that's ever won a major is 46 or 7. I think it was almost Nicklaus, if I'm not wrong.
Jack.
So
Wasn't 87? I mean, wasn't
yeah,
87
so, I think
Masters?
Tiger's got about a 4 or 5 year window, maybe. So, and if you look at 4 majors a year, he's got 20 majors that he needs to get 4 out of. So
it's possible.
Gosh, it's possible. I agree. I think it's possible if he can just be healthy for those starts. I mean, obviously, I think he's kind of geared around to where he's got his body peaking at those times just for those events. But I think it's definitely still on the table.
Do you think he's still got the drive to accomplish that? You know that had to be in the back of his mind.
Yeah, I think he still has the drive. I think there's no question about that. I mean, those guys like Michael Jordan and Tiger, I mean, you just can't turn that competitiveness off. I mean, he'll still be trying into his 50s, I think. So I think realistically, though, he's probably got about 20 more majors that he's going to be right there.
Yeah,
so
I like that
we'll
number.
see what happens.
I think that number. I think there's the room for 4. You know, I think there's room for 4 right there. You know what I mean? Adam Gary, man, awesome dude. Always a pleasure. Gary on the Green. It's good stuff.
Thank you for having me,
folks. We'll see you next week for Casey Warner, Danny Hartung. Thanks for Jason Harbison stopping by, Casey. That was great.
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, I love that we were able to get him involved in the show because, like he said, he's been so bored on Saturdays, man. You know, bless his heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Bless their heart, and bless all the baseball fans out there. Hope it holds together for you. If not, maybe there's some travel ball you can go watch and stand.
Right.
Maybe get your binoculars out.
Sure, I mean, why not? It's the game of baseball. I'll take any game of baseball. I'll go up to the park and watch some Little League games if I have to. Man.
Were your Sox going to get it done this year?
They were going to get it done, and that's the issue I have is, most of my life I've struggled in seeing a lot of bad White Sox teams, despite the 05 World Series team, which was kind of a vague memory because I was so young. So it's like the first recent time that I have memory of the White Sox being good was going to be this year, and there's no baseball,
man.
So just my luck. But
unbelievable. Folks, stay safe out there. Protect yourself, protect your neighbor, and we'll see you next Monday on the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7.
Out.